So welcome back everybody to our daily Gita classes. Today we are going to be reading from chapter number 2 entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, and we are going to be reading from text number 20, 2.20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So chapter 2, text number 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanya mane sharire na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanya mane sharire na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Okay, word for word. Sorry. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatayam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Okay. Word for translation. Na, never. Jayate, takes birth. Mriyate, dies. Va, either. Kadachit, at any time. Past, present or future. Na, never. Ayam, this. Bhutva, having come into being. Bhavita, will come to be. Va, or. Na, not. Bhuya, or is again coming to be. Ajaha, unborn. Nitya, eternal. Shashvata, permanent. Ayam, this. Purana, the oldest. Na, never. Hanyate, is killed. Hanyamane, being killed. Sharire, the body. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Please repeat after me. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Okay. Purport. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes its birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because it takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death, and because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old as the body does. The so-called old man therefore feels himself to be the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore, the soul is free from the 6 changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad, we also find a similar passage which reads, Na jayate mriyate va vipaschin, nayam kutaschin na babuva kaschit, ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but here in this verse there is one special word, vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to clouds or for some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because the Supreme Consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teachings of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad in this way. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atma Sya Janto Nihito Guhayam Tam Akratu Pashati Vita Shoko Dhatu Prasadan Mahimanam Atmanaha. Both the super soul Paramatma and the atomic soul Jivatma are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being, and only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapters, and Arjuna is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-unmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srimati Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Paschadeshatarine. Okay. Najayate Vriyate Va Kadachin Nayam Bhutva Pavitava Nabhuya Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano Nahanyate Hanyamane Sharire. So this shlok is a very, very famous shlok in the Gita, and this one shlok gives a definitive answer of what is the soul. So we all say that the soul is of a spiritual nature, but what exactly does the spiritual nature even mean? So in our experience, we only have experience of the material nature. We don't know what the spiritual nature looks like. So this verse, if we show in the purport, that the same verse is given in the Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. Only one word is different. Instead of Kadachin, he said Vipaschin. So it's verbatim from the Upanishad. Now in the Upanishads, the language of the Upanishads is like this. It's very cryptic. So there's so many words called na. Na jayate vakadachin, na yam bhutva va na bhuya. Ajo nitya shastra yampuran, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. 4 times the word na has been used in this verse. Now in the Upanishads, this is how they have described the absolute truth, because they start off from the point of what we know, and what we know is limited to our material existence, but spiritual life and spiritual nature is not compatible with this material world. So to try to describe what that spiritual nature is, they keep on utilizing negatives. It's not this. We understand, okay, in material life there is birth. So spiritual nature means there is no birth. So again, to to describe something of an opposite nature, you use negation. So this is known as called neti neti. Neti neti. So it's not this, not this. Na iti. Na means no, iti means this. It is not this. Not this, not this. That's like neti neti. That's how the Upanishads describe what the absolute is. But why do they need to describe it in this way? Why? Two reasons. One is because our understanding is only on the material platform. So to keep on reminding ourselves of that nature which is completely opposite, they need to keep on utilizing this word na. It's not what is in your understanding of what is happening in the material world. Like we are so accustomed that, oh, we have seen births, we have seen deaths, and between these two there are 4 other changes. When you are born, then you are existent, you grow for some time, you will produce some offspring, so this changes, then dwindling, and finally death. So in this material world, these are the 6 changes that happen, not only of a human being or a living entity, but even a non-living entity will go through this, if not all 6, but at least they will go through some of these. But a living entity will go through these 6 changes for sure. That's how you know that something is living, because if it is living, it will of course produce offsprings. It can have the capacity to produce offsprings. So this is the one reason, and the second reason is that it is supposed to challenge our ways of thinking, that we are always stuck in thinking in terms of material methods, because that is what we are conditioned to think of, because for a long time we have been, or since time immemorial, we have been stuck in this material world. So our conditioned state of thinking is always trying to see in terms of material ways. So here Prabhupada writes in a very nice way that, look, He is eternal, ever existing and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of His coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc. We are conditioned to keep on thinking that there must be a beginning somewhere. There must be a beginning and there must be an end, because that is what we are conditioned to think. Just to break this conception that we have of how things work, how reality works, they keep on utilizing this word na. Na, na. It is nothing like what you can imagine. It is completely of a different category. So here in this verse, there are 6 changes. Prabhupada has written that the body undergoes 6 types of changes. Our living person goes under 6 types of changes with respect to the body. But we are not this body. So the 6 types of changes are not applicable to the soul. And this verse, each line or each word breaks that understanding of what we understand to be the changes of the body. The first thing is, it is born. So what is the first line? It says na jayate, means it is not born. And what is the last thing we know? It is death. Na jayate mriyate, so it doesn't even die. Na jayate mriyate, it doesn't born, it's not death. So we have already covered the first 2. Now we have the other 4 in the middle. So the 6 changes, they are called jayate, meaning comes into being. Asti, meaning it is maintaining its existence. Is vardate, meaning it is growing. Vipari namate, means it changes or produces offsprings. Then is apakshiyate, which means it decays. And the last one is vinashanti omriyate, means it dies. So the first line itself already covers the first one and the last one, na jayate mriyate. Now what about the ones in the middle? So he says, then the next line is what? Nayam bhutva bhavita, nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya, meaning it's simply existing. It is not that it came into being in the past, it came into being in the present, or it will come into being in the future. No, it is just there. It's always there. So it is simply existing, meaning what? That we are always conditioned to thinking in terms of past, present and future. Past, present and future is under the domain of time, but the soul is beyond the domain of time. It was existing, it was always existing in the past, it is existing now, and it will continue to exist in the future. So there is no way you can trace the history of where the soul has come from, because we are so conditioned to thinking that there is some history, there is some beginning, but you cannot. Beginning and ending are constructs of time, but the soul is not constrained by the time factor. It is eternal. You cannot date it. That is why even our Vedic literatures, you can't actually date them, because it is dealing with eternal knowledge. We don't even know when it started. We don't know. It is timeless. That's why it's called timeless knowledge. It's the oldest knowledge that there is, and yet it is the most relevant, because it is dealing with at the complete spiritual level of reality, and that is going to be true in the past, now and forever in the future. So these books of knowledge, the Vedas, are always going to remain true, because they are of a divine origin. They are of a divine origin. Lord Krishna has spoken this. Yeah, it's not that this book is going to ever go out of fashion, or the knowledge in this book is ever going to become expired. No, this is one thing that doesn't expire at all. And Prabhupada says here that Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teaching in the Bhagavad Gita would be useless. This line here shows that the knowledge that is given in the Bhagavad Gita is given by Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the fountainhead of all the spiritual reality and also material reality. So his instructions, his knowledge is never going to be ever expired. It's always going to remain ever fresh. Right? Next line we have is Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano. Now Ajo Nitya. Now Ajo Nitya means Ajaha, means unborn, and Nitya means eternal. Because it is unborn and it is eternal, it never changes. There is no change to it. Yeah, it's Purano. Purano means old. It means it's old. And then Prabhupada writes in the purport that the soul does not at any time become old as the body does. The so-called old man therefore feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. And we all have experience of this. Our body has grown, but sometimes if you look back, the desires and everything that we've had are still lingering after so many years. Like whatever desires we had as a 20-year-old are the same desires we might even have as a 70-year-old. So the body has changed from a 20-year-old to a 70-year-old, but the desires, that feeling of being alive does not change. Everyone wants to keep on living with the same determination, with the same vigor, but now the body is not giving support as it used to give support, and that is creating a lot more frustration and regrets in older people's lives, because now the body is getting useless, is not keeping up with what our desires are. It's not. So this just goes to show practical example that the soul and its force is not able to change when the body changes. Yeah, it always remains the same. And then he says Shashvata, meaning it is eternal. It is always going to be like this. There is going to be no change. There is no decaying. Yeah, and Prabhupada also writes in this purport that when we look at our kids, we look at them as being our extensions, but you have not created life. No, that fetus or that embryo in the womb is only growing because there is the presence of an individual soul in it, not because of you have done anything. No, when a father and a mother unite, the father is just providing the semen, and within the semen there is already a soul in it. The father carries the soul, and then in the semen, and when the semen mixes with the ovum, that initial spark is the energy of that particular soul. So the soul is already there right from the beginning, and medical science doesn't know this. They believe that consciousness comes after the baby is born. But tell me, in our Vedic scriptures, and especially in Canto 3 of Bhagavatam, the entire journey of the soul is given from conception all the way to delivery. The entire changes that are happening, whatever the fetus is feeling inside the womb is also written. So now you tell me, if there was no soul in the fetus, how would they be able to feel or have consciousness about their trapped position? It is even said that even the pious souls, even in that condition, they remember up to 100 past lifetimes. And then when they remember this, they are praying fervently inside the womb to the Lord that remove me from this condition, from this terrible condition, and when I come out, I will definitely pray and offer my obeisances and service and do bhakti towards you. Only the pious souls are able to do this. And then as soon as the baby is out, complete Maya taken over. He has forgotten everything that he had even prayed for inside the womb. So the thing is that this verse highlights that the soul is of a different nature than material things that we understand. It is completely different than the transformations that we see in a material body. The soul is not affected by these things. The only reason why is because the soul is beyond the domain of time. It is eternal in nature. It is always going to remain an eternal living entity. That's why Prabhupada even writes here that there are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad. And so these two, the atomic soul and the super soul, will always remain eternal. And this was already confirmed in 2.12 when Krishna tells to Arjuna that there was never a time that you did not exist, that I did not exist, nor all these other kings present here exist. They never cease to be, and they have always been there, and they'll never cease to be in the future as well. So from that verse and this verse we can understand in more detail that Krishna is trying to say that this relationship will always stay. The atomic soul will never become the supreme soul. It will always remain an atomic soul. Now the thing is, with atomic soul and the supreme soul, there is some differences. In quality is the same, but in quantity it is different. Now in quantity, Krishna is the supreme. He is the fountainhead of everything. He is full of knowledge. He is full of consciousness. Yeah, because without consciousness, there is no knowledge. Yeah, how do we even get to understand anything in this world? Can a dead body understand what's happening to it? Where does a dead body get that understanding that something is happening to it? That can only happen when there is a presence of the soul. When there is a soul in it, then only do our senses are able to get information, process the information and understand from it. But without the soul, it's dead matter. Dead matter is not conscious, meaning, and by extension, it cannot be knowledgeable. This table does not have any idea that it is right now inside a temple. But I, in a body, a life body, am able to understand that, okay, I am inside a temple room. This table has got no understanding because it has got no consciousness. So like that, our consciousness and our knowledge is limited, but Krishna is not like us. He is supreme. So his consciousness is supreme and his knowledge is infinite. He is the source of everything. So that is why Prabhupada writes in the end of the thing, of the purport, that therefore he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative. This knowledge needs to be understood by the instructions of Krishna or by the representatives of Krishna. Only then will all these knowledge actually make sense to us. Even though some of this knowledge is so like natural to understand because we are living through it, yet we are not able to understand it because we need the help of Krishna or his representatives to be able to make full understanding of this knowledge. And what is the purpose of all this knowledge? The purpose of all this knowledge is that in this present case, Arjuna gets conviction to do his duty properly. This knowledge is fundamental to build the fountain or the foundational of how to live your life. When you understand this knowledge, not just understand it theoretically, but understand it with full realization, what will happen is you will become free from lamentation. You will be full of courage to do the right thing because your understanding of reality is now at the correct vision. Yeah, we look at reality based on the bodily point of view, and that's what Arjuna was doing, and it is causing so much lamentation and bewilderment. But if we correct this right in the beginning of everything that we do, if we have the right understanding of how the world works, what is the actual reality, then we will not be bewildered. We will not be lamenting even in the discharge of doing duties which might be difficult for us to do. Right? And so this is just the starting of the Gita, and this is the first knowledge, this is the first instruction that Krishna is giving. Now we will see as we move forward in the Gita how Krishna is breaking all the arguments that Arjuna made in chapter number 1, and this is all to do with the first argument that Arjuna had, that he was feeling compassion. He was feeling compassion, but his compassion was misplaced. It was placed on the body, not on the soul. But Krishna is now correcting it. Now we will see as we go ahead how this second and third and fourth, how many arguments that Arjuna made, they are all going to be broken one by one. Anyone have any questions, any comments? Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki